it to you. Sorry, boss. Myth number 1. We ready?
Yeah.
Make some noise if you've heard something similar to this before. Essential oils? Oh, that's a luxury thing. It's not for us. Okay? Now, whether it's been in actual verbal form where somebody's actually told you this, or it's just the mentality and you can see that they're not accepting the message that you have to share with them or the truth that you have for them because they've got this type of blockage going on mentally, it's prevalent. It's all over our community. And in order to change that, it takes a village of us who are empowered with information and knowledge to share and change what people are thinking. So let me drop a little bit of knowledge about this lie. The fact is, Africa is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful continent. It's diverse in its botanicals. Africa is a large place, so many different countries, and every country has a history and a heritage and a tradition of using herbs to inform their health, their wellness, their spirituality, their mental and emotional well-being. All over the world, many cultures that have recorded history anciently that is surviving today, there's some record of them using plants and herbs to inform their wellness. Africa is no different. Now, when you take most of us, if you're like me, your heritage in the United States started on a boat. We're not talking a cruise ship. Okay? And so those people who came over, not by choice, were not brought here ignorant of plants and how to use them. And that seems to be, I grew up in Arkansas, okay? And it seems to be a thing that healthy lifestyle, fresh fruits and vegetables, plant-based nutrition, and all of those things, that's not really for us. And it breaks my heart when I hear that because I know that it's not true. I know the truth is that slaves were brought over. They were skilled labor. They knew the plants, they knew the herbs, they knew how to use them. Let's talk about the tribes, top 10 tribes that were brought over. They weren't the warriors, because we know what happens when you try to go capture a warrior tribe, right? They weren't the hunters. Many times they were farmers. They had plant-based diets. Then they were brought over. And they continued to do what they knew to inform their health and wellness because their health care was even more jacked than what ours is. So they didn't have it at all. They had to care for themselves, especially the elderly who were not seen as valuable in the workforce. Their owners were not investing and taking care of their health, so they had to do it themselves, and they used plant medicine. Here's some facts. So I'm not just making this up, just so you guys know. What are some of the plants that they used? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, wait. Let's do it this way. This will be more fun, right? Anybody in the room think you can name these 6? Because there are dozens. But here are 6 that are well documented that they used. And I can tell you, because we've got pictures of herbs. Thank you, Judy Hunter. I can tell you some of the ways that they use these things and what they used it for. Okay, raise your hand if you think you can name all 6. Anybody? Anybody? Any takers? Okay, raise your hand if you think you can name 5.
4.
5? Okay, 5. Right here. Let's try it. Go ahead. We got you.
Okay.
What do you see that you know?
Okay, pine.
Pine, right here. Basil, top middle.
Yes. Is that dill?
No, it's in the dill family.
Oh, fennel?
Okay, you phoned a friend. Good job. Yes.
Sage.
There we go.
I don't know the bottom 2.
I'm sorry. Sage. And what else?
I don't know. I'm second guessing myself.
Don't
Don't do that.
You're with family. You're with family. Okay. So she got 4.
What's the bottom 2?
That's pretty awesome. Okay.
You don't have the bottom?
That's a prize.
One on the bottom?
That's a
Okay,
prize.
this is why I wasn't up on the stage. I
Where's
left all
the
my stuff
bottom?
in my bag. All right. What about these 2? Anybody know these 2?
No.
There we go. Who's
Which
the
one is black pepper?
Okay, you are correct, madam. And right over here. Anybody?
Currant.
Nope.
Elderberry?
Ooh, elderberry. Good guess. We don't have that oil, so I didn't put it on here.
I know some plants. I live in the garden. I'm like, I can't. I don't know what it is.
Nice. Plant Vitality is the one that we're struggling to identify. That is a young wintergreen plant. Okay, and so they were involved in slave labor, which I don't know if you've heard wasn't a lot of fun, right? So they were working manual labor, long hours. They were actually using these herbs, grinding them up, and making tinctures and different remedies for themselves. They would use this to treat sore muscles. They would use it to, should I keep going or should I? Party on. Lights on or off, doesn't matter. Okay, we're doing this. So yes, they would use a combination of these plants and many, many more. So many documented records of what plants they would use. But these here they would use to reduce fever, to treat arthritis, to even help with a lot of the diseases that were kind of going around and safeguard their children. Now, the ruling class at the time said that it was voodoo. They said it was witchcraft. They used anything that they could to downplay the value and the knowledge, the skill and the wisdom that these skilled practitioners were using to heal themselves, their families, and their community. But when you see results, okay, so, but when you see results, you can't argue for too long. And so many of these voodoo doctors, they would call them, were actually asked to treat a lot of their owners and their families. Many of them even won their freedom and freedom for their own family through knowledge about how to use plants. That's our heritage with plant-based medicines, plant-based solutions. So when you hear somebody say that that's not for us, that's a white thing, you have to love through that ignorance enough to help them see the truth. Deal?
Amen.
Deal.
So here's some of the facts, right? So I was saying I am not making this stuff up. I didn't just download that from above. There's actually quite a bit of literature about this. So African medicinal plants, African American slave medicine, secret cures of slaves. This is one of my favorite books. And you see all the plants on the cover. So you know what their secrets were. Working the root, over 400 years of traditional African American healing. This one covers several different modalities and how they used plant bases informed with other types of healing. Working cures, healing health and power on southern slave plantations. Ready for myth number 2. Myth number 2. We're too stubborn, we won't change. Don't even try. I don't even grow my business in our community. I'm sick of us. Too stubborn. I've heard people say this to me, and I love them enough and through the frustration because it's a valid experience for them. But I hope that I can transmit some of that love through them so that they can turn and love their community enough to see where they are and meet people where they are. So I want to poll the audience. Here's where it gets controversial. Dun, dun, dun. I have this listed as a myth, but what do you think?
I don't think we're too stubborn. It's just more work.
We're ignorant.
You're true.
Mindset.
We are
False.
too stubborn to change.
False.
Mindset and education.
Okay, true.
It's ignorance.
False.
False.
True? Okay, I'm like,
I don't know. I don't know if it's just
thank you. Thank you. Okay. Can be both. We are too stubborn to change. How powerful is that if we're standing on the truth? How powerful is that if we're standing on the truth? You can tell me something. You can tell me, you can label me with your diagnoses and what you use, the vocabulary you use to define me. And that's fine for you. But I know my truth and I'm not about to change for you. Okay, so there's a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
Every individual's experience, every individual's journey must be honored. Okay? And so if you have gotten into it the way I've gotten into it, at Thanksgiving, or, you know, it was supposed to be a fun family lunch or whatever, and they walk to you and they're like, you know what I hate about you oily people? It's like, Go ahead, tell me what. If you've had those situations where you're hoping to bless, you're hoping to share something that'll help, and it's taken as you're trying to tell me how to raise my kid, or okay, I see you nodding. We've all been in those situations. It's just that. It's just a situation. It's not the whole of reality. It's a situation, and they're in the middle of a process and a journey, just like you are. And so, here's the fact.
Yeah, that's a fact. Amen.
Are we all agreed that this is true?
Yes.
Hey, my parents, both born and raised in Arkansas, they are stubborn. I get it honest, is what they say. And I thought that they would never change. The way to allow someone to accept new information is not to try to shove it down their throat.
Yeah.
You guys know that?
Yeah.
Okay, and so stubborn, it's a label, all right? And it fits in just kind of wherever it happens to fit in that day. I thought my parents would never change. Then I come to find out my mom says essential oils don't work. I know they don't work. I've tried them. I was given some by a friend. She said it would help with a certain situation. I tried it several times, hoping and praying, and nothing happened. I said, what oil did you use? She showed me the bottle. It had a D on it.
Trash.
Trash.
I just tried it out my own mother. It had a D on it. D for disappointment.
That's good. That's
D for
good.
that. D for didn't work. And I mean, I worked at the time for someone who can supply, spends every day making sure we have access to the highest quality oils in the world. And if you don't understand that quality impacts benefits and what it's able to do, okay, the results are absolutely determined by the quality that you're using. And so I listened, and I thought, okay, that was her experience. Her stubbornness having to do with oils had to do with her own experience, a truth that she had learned. And it was true that what she had tried did not work. Eventually, and okay, now I'm thankful that she learned for herself. It didn't take me saying, oh, you know their oils don't work. Okay? I didn't have to do it because she learned for herself. And through time and different situations, okay, so that didn't work for her. She wasn't willing to try what I had to offer until another situation with blemishes came up. And then she was all ready to try what I had. And she did, and it worked. So then I gave her, that opened an opportunity, life opened an opportunity for me to share more and more and more. And now, my mom is the Young Living distributor.
Hey.
Are we stubborn? Yes. But this is a fact, okay? Last myth, because I'm so out of time.
Okay.
But we're gonna run through this one really quick because I wasn't quite sure it was legal anyway. Okay, so we've heard this. They're too expensive. I can find somewhere. I can make my, I have a garden. Literally, this is a true story. Literally, I have a garden. I can, and I know how to. Okay, let's just talk real quick about a situation because there's cost and there's value. And cost is associated with a lot more than just dollar bills, right? Okay, so here's an example I came up with since nobody has reviewed this presentation. Nobody's conduct team has seen this. It's a private event, it's just a family gathering, right? Okay, so Pepto-Bismol. How much does it cost? $6.38. It has 15 doses in it. This is the Walmart price, y'all. And then that's about 42 cents per dose. It has 5 claims on it, 5 symptoms that it can relieve for just under 50 cents. Is that affordable?
Some people.
Right, okay, we're using it, so yes. I guess it must be. Especially if you're experiencing any one of those 5 symptoms that this can take care of, then yes, you're willing to trade that 50 cents all too readily. That's interesting information, right?
Bam.
Okay, now moving on to a completely different subject.
Yep. Yep.
Facts.
Good, honey.
Next.
Preach, girl.
Okay. You guys hear all that quiet?
I'll pay
That
your
was the
shipping.
sound of me not saying anything non-compliant.
Good job.
I love my job. I'd like to keep it together. All of these myths are symptoms of broken thinking. Broken thinking that we didn't necessarily choose for ourselves, because the truth is, ignorance takes away from you freedom because it removes your ability to choose.
Yep.
If you don't know any better, you cannot make a choice.
Amen.
Therefore, you are a captive of mental slavery.
Right.
When we are in this state, we're not able to choose for ourselves the freedoms that we know are our birthright. We're not able to choose what we know inside of us. We know we can feel that there's better for us.
Right.
And that's in our place of truth. Oh, okay, I even got the music. So, we talked about Young Living products and we talked about herbs as medicine, but they were not just medicine for the physical body, they were also medicine for the soul, for the spirit. And our roots, if we go far enough back, our people know this. There are so many Young Living products that I use to inform and strengthen my emotional and spiritual practice. One of the most difficult things I have struggled with coming of age in our community is coming into myself and realizing my truth, standing in my truth, okay? At home, when I'm meditating and it's quiet, I know my truth. And then I go to work, happen to work in Utah, and sometimes it's like, okay, well, I know my truth, but I'm not about to put it on display or share it with you. You know, these are broken ways of thinking that allow the weakness in us to accept those myths. Sometimes we question them in ourselves. I made this presentation and I still sometimes question some of those myths because they're so prevalent. They've been shared so much. But I have been able to use essential oils to help break those chains. One of my favorite oils to use is Release.
Yes, ma'am.
Gary formulated Release to help remove blockages in our bodies and even help us on a cellular level to release negativity, broken ways of thinking, traumas that have been stored within us, and some of them have even been transmitted generationally.
Yeah.
And so as a community, what a resource, what a relief it is to know that we have the power and the assistance to help us get to where we need to be, to where we want to be. I have some audio here of Gary talking about Release, and then I have a gift for you guys.
All right.
Where's Linda? You have a gift. Okay. Can you start passing those out while we play this?
Release. Release goes over the liver.
Can everybody hear?
The oils in there, like geranium and chamomile, are there to help to dilate the biliary ducts for discharging not only toxins of physical nature, but toxins of emotional problems. And all of you are knowledgeable enough to know that stress and negative thinking creates a lot of toxic stuff in the body. Very, very much so. And so it can be just as important for releasing the negative emotions as releasing the negative toxins. And it really is powerful there. So when you're applying it, another thing that's quite important is if you're visualizing with this, each time you apply the oil, if you visualize release and letting things go and releasing it, then that's even that much more support to the entire frequencies that's going on within your body. And apply it over the liver. Apply it to the liver contact point on the bottom of the right foot. You can look on a Vitaflex chart, Young Living Vitaflex chart, or just a reflexology chart. If you're not sure, just rub it all over the bottom of the right foot. You'll have the same effect. And again, when applying the oils, allow yourself 10 minutes between each oil application. You don't have to, but it's nice and it's wise if you can, because you'll find that sometimes it takes a few minutes for the oils to have an effect, particularly if you have been hanging on to these emotions a long time.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. All right, so we have a gift for you from Young Living Corporate.
Wow. Thank you.
can put it on the bottom of your right foot. If you don't know that Vitaflex point, Google it. The other place you can put it on is on your right hand. So you can open your bottle right now. Well, these are not to hoard and take home and keep for the memory.
I know, right?
While I have a microphone, the only limitation of your oils is the white cap that's on the top. You have to open them up. You have to get them on your body. You have to get them into the spaces that you occupy so that they can make change.
Here you go, open it.
That's a 5 ml bottle. It's approximately 90 drops. 3 drops a day. That's your 1 month supply. Empty the bottle, guys. Okay? So the other place you can put it, I see Karen doing it. Right now, we're going to apply it together.